Back in 2002, I was asked by the then curator of the museum to accompany her and the library van driver to a hospital of which I knew nothing, in a village I had never previously visited. I remember arriving at the near-deserted site and loading up the Reredos and the ship's wheel into the back of a van. As usual, there seemed to be some kind of important discussion going on between the curator and a health board official, so I took the chance to wander off and explore. I'm not sure if this is a false memory or not, but I do recall having a screwdriver with me and removing 2 ward signs you see on show in the gallery before being called out and told we were leaving. I can't remember who suggested putting on a small display. However, it was through this that I met Henryk Matuszak, the Mazureks, Basha Platt and Irena Szenderowicz. Mrs. Szenderowicz was the driving force, a force of nature in providing contacts and background information on the experience of Polish people who had come to Penley and made this country their home. She was very determined that although the original hospital was going to be knocked down, the place and its meaning should not be forgotten. That first display attracted quite a bit of interest, and we always felt we should have, stage another exhibition here. Wrexham Museum has moved on a great deal since 2002. In that first display, I think we were pinning A4 and A3 prints on the wall, and we had no opportunity to show films, no opportunity to have oral history either. I was mindful last year that it was the 100th anniversary of the rebirth of Poland, but with First World War anniversaries coming thick and fast, it was only a chance meeting with Claire, and a sudden gap in the exhibition caused by the announcement of a potential National Football Museum for Wales here in Wrexham that provided the opportunity for this exhibition. At this point, I would like to hand over to the Mayor. He's Councillor Andy Williams, who he himself actually organised a centenary exhibition at another part of Wrexham called Garden Village. So he's got an interest in history, and I'm very pleased if he can give the official welcome and a vote of thanks.
Thank you. Prananda, welcome everybody for coming. Welcome to Wrexham. A warmer welcome as well for those that have travelled far and wide to be here today. I couldn't believe when I walked in how many people were here. And I know we were going to get 2 votes of welcome, but there's that many of you that have turned up, we're going to do 3. So by the end of the 3rd, I should have my speech. Downstairs in Gallery 3, you may have seen the Penley Hospital, the story of the Polish community that came to Wales. It relates to how, despite all the challenges that the people faced through international politics and war, that they managed to come together and make a new community and help each other build a new life in a strange country. In today's reunion, you're all here to celebrate the ties with each other, which is really, really important. And I know you've all gone your separate ways and have come from far and wide throughout the UK to come here today. Like many communities across the country, like mine in Garden Village that I wrote a history book about, in the northern side of Wrexham, Penley is only a few miles further on, and the former staff of the hospital that have been involved in creating the exhibition here today, and I know that their contribution has been vital to it coming ahead. As you may be aware, Wrexham has become the home of many, many Polish families and Polish people since 2004. Many of the town's businesses rely on the Polish people and the Polish skills that they bring to our communities. The children attend the schools, and the families attend the Catholic Church, which is just next door to us here. Which is here, isn't it? I've lost my bearings, but I'm sure it's this side. There you go, not very good with directions. The story of the Penley Poles and the Polish resettlement across the UK is an example of history and our local history here today. The success of their stories and the home to another land despite the inevitable problems and the human endeavour as such is worthy of celebrating here today. I've got a few thank yous to make. I'd like to firstly thank Andy Breza for arranging to edit his films and to add the narration to one of the silent movies he's done from the 1960s. I'd also like to thank Stan Bereza for translating numerous articles about a Polish hospital, Claire Lewis for her enthusiasm, which is over there, in assisting to set it up, and it's quite poignant for Claire because she's lost her mother, and it's a little bit of a tribute to her mother, why she's done it as well. Alan Dorley for lending his valuable experience and skills from radio presenting and editing to producing and interviewing the people that were there before. Hilda Turney for assisting Alan in seeking all the willing participants. Whether they were all willing to start with is another story, or whether you were forced into speaking. And also to all the people that have had the interviews and bought a microphone, which is quite a daunting thing to start with being recorded. But thank you all for doing your interviews. The Knit and Stitch group for making and producing all the costumes. And finally, I'd like to thank all of you for coming, because you can have an exhibition, but if nobody comes to see it, then it's not worth doing. And it's obviously very poignant, this exhibition, because there's so many who come to see it, which is really, really fantastic to see. So that's all my thank yous. I hope you enjoy your stay in Wrexham, and I hope for the ones that have come back, it's a memorable visit and you will come back again to see us. And thank you.
I'd like to invite Stan to come up and read a poem about Penley.
Okay, just a few words of introduction about the poet Beata Obrotyńska, who for a few years in the 1950s, in the early 1950s, for 3 years, she worked as an administrator in the Polish hospital. She, like many of the staff and patients in Penley, had come from eastern Poland. She lived in the city of Lwów, which is no longer in Poland, but is now in the Ukraine. And like other Poles from that part of Poland, they was transported to Siberia and spent time in Starobielsk and in the Vorkuta concentration camp. And a number of her poems, most prominent poems, are about her experiences, including one which describes her experience being transported in a cattle truck. But this poem, which was written 20 years after Memories of Poland, 20 years after leaving Penley, is a sort of nostalgic memory of how she felt a sense of community there, but also it has the sadness of people who knew they couldn't go back to Poland and felt a great loss. So, Memories of Poland. And just one word. The first word of the poem, I couldn't quite know what it was. I had to go to an old dictionary. It's called Łuk, which means hawthorn. So, I think you've all got a translation of the poem. It uses some words which perhaps not that familiar to people. But anyway, here's the poem, Memories of Poland. Głuk już miedzę czerwieni, jabłka zebrane w sadzie, liść na liść przy jesieni, sucha warstwa się kładzie. I tak wkoło Macieju zima, wiosna, polecie jesień swoją koleją, liście za wiatrem miecie. Lat 20, to dawno, woda płynie, czas leci, odkąd został precz za mną na szpital numer 3. A pamiętam tam wszystko, od blachego poważne i złoto serc prawdziwe, najwyższej próby każde. Morze cierpień, po cichu w biel baraków wtopione i te daszki, chodniki, klekocące betony. Sióstr fartuchy w przelocie, czy chorych luźne kitle, stary kasztan przy poczcie, co jak kwit, pewnie kwitnie. Widzę zasiek cmentarny, krzyże stare i nowe i śnieżyste od tarnin nabożeństwo majowe. Nawet ów w jedną stronę zawiany, ślad donikąd, odcisk psich łap, wtopiony w beton przed dentystyra. I nasze pogaduszki co na co dzień i od święta, bo pamięć to do siebie ma właśnie, że pamięta. Jakże kwitły nasturcje tego sierpnia przed laty, kiedy znów precz mi przyszło taszczyć lary penaty. I dziękować za wszystko, co pod niejednym dachem w ciągu 3 lat doznałam odważnego po balachę. Odejść groby, te nawet, których wzgórek nie spłyciał, i zostawić za sobą kawał serca i życia. To też szkła mi zamokły. Od stara ze mnie beksa, kiedy piszę to wszystko do Penley Hall